Alright, welcome back everybody. Today we're going to be playing a little bit more Oxygen Not Included. I had this pop back up in my radar because I found out that, they did a lo-fi hip-hop um, collaboration kind of parody thing, which is adorable, and I've been streaming that while I'm at work. The soundtrack for this game is fantastic, and it's very relaxing. But they've also announced that next week there's going to be a new content patch going into beta testing, which I'm really excited for. And hopefully by the end of the year they'll actually have a DLC release, which is going to add a lot, well, not a lot, but a couple new systems and a lot more content. So I'm really excited for that. And it's just been a while since I played this because I've been on a Monster Hunter kick for quite some time, and then I had a Minecraft kick before that, so I'm just gonna go back into this with no mods or anything like that, and I started up this colony last night, so it's brand new, and here we go. But either way, I am recording this on Valentine's Day of 2020, so I hope everyone's having a good time. Regardless of if you have someone or not, I hope you have a good Valentine's Day. I know a lot of people can be sad around this time of year, but it'll be okay. I do have sort of a plan that I want to do for this colony. Basically, I was thinking about just, if you've ever seen the movie Cube, I recently rewatched that, as well as the sequel and the prequel, which were terrible. And I kind of wanted to just make a colony where everything is cubed out, and I was trying to think what I should base it off of, so I decided to base it off of the width of this starting platform. So everything is going to be an 8 by 8 room, which will leave 24 blocks of space available within the rooms. But it wasn't allowing me to do that for a while. I do need to come down here and access this, and I'm going to have 3 by 3 corridors in between each cube, so I need to space this out correctly. So that'll be a 3 corridor. So 1, 2, 3, there'll be a door there. 1, 2, 3, so that's the base. Alright, so that, and then the door will go there, and that will be where my pump goes. So the fact that this generated like this is very helpful for me. Obviously, until I use up this water, I'm not going to build a cube here or over here. Probably, I'll probably just go down in here and connect this to that. That way I can access my water. But first priority always when you're starting a new base is to get your water going. So let's get that and let them run around a bit. And let's get this up as well. This isn't a bad start to a colony either. There is some slime. This is just your basic asteroid, so there will be germs that I'm going to be dealing with. And it's the basic start, none of the new biome stuff. And there's a little bit of leaking heat from some hot areas, but should be okay, hopefully. Decent amount of copper over there. I'm going to want some of that eventually. A small bit up here. Decent amount up here that is by cooler areas. What's the germs like up here? Because that is near slime. Okay, the slime's still contained, so that's not a bad area to go to. Alrighty. Oh, stupid sand. Sand is always your enemy in this game, I swear to God. Alright, you guys built that. Now you can do that. Okay, perfect. So now I think I'm going to make a cube over here as my bathroom. And just like the cube, every single room will have 4 doors. It also helps doing this because you'll be able to accurately identify how much air you're going to need in a base, because each room will have 24 tiles, so that would be 48 kilograms at max 2 kilogram pressure in the room for your dukedoms. So that's going to actually complicate things slightly, because that's going to be the bathroom. What traits did I get my dukedoms to have? I don't think. Okay, yeah, so I didn't make them all immune to food poisoning, so I am going to have to filter water, which means the bathroom's going to be tricky. Maybe I do the bathrooms in the corridors rather than in a cube, because that way I can guarantee that they wash their hands. So if I'm going to do them in the corridors, I need to establish a bathroom corridor right up here, which means I'm going to have to unfortunately dig up all those plants, which sucks, but that's life. Let's just go ahead and finish out this cube. Set cancel those two, because that's where the door is going to be. Is that going to work? There's going to be doors everywhere. And there's going to be a 3, no. There's going to be a lot of wasted space, but a lot of decor space as well, when you stop to think about it. The problem is, technically, these ceiling doors without a ladder, there's no real purpose to them. And in fact, the floor ones also don't really have a purpose unless I put a ladder there so they can come up in. So maybe I don't do that. Maybe I do seal off these. That will give me more space, and that will allow me to make a bathroom safely. I do intend to have them just awkwardly climbing on these parts, so yeah, I guess that'll work. Alrighty. So actually, I can just I don't want to cancel it because I already put the commands. I'll just low prioritize this because that's not important. I need bathrooms to get going up here. Alrighty, in the world of autism though, for those of you that come here for any interesting talk on that, what I wanted to talk about a little bit today is what I enjoy most about talking about autism in general is the ability to kind of, I just realized I made a mistake. I mentioned it's wider because I didn't line that up right. That's supposed to be too wide. Sorry. Completely backtracked. There we go. So I can do that further. Anyway, what I really enjoy doing with autism is trying to find ways to explain how my mind works through metaphor, facsimile, and things like that, so that people can understand and have a connection to how I function on a day-to-day basis. And I know that isn't easy for everyone to really grasp. And do I have, yeah, I do. Okay, wash basin, one there, and then I have 2 bathrooms. Perfect. Eventually they will be crossing paths. There. Just realized though, if I'm going to be doing bathrooms in the hallways, then I'm not going to do showers because showers are floor tall. But that's fine. I can have a dedicated shower room. They don't need to wash their hands when they come out of the shower room. They just need to wash their hands coming out of the toilet. Anyway, so like when I was explaining in a previous video, sorry, had a thirst there, and I don't remember what I was just talking about. What was I in the previous video? I explained something about autism. It doesn't matter. The thing that was coming to mind most today was how certain thoughts and words can trigger images in my mind because I think in pictures, which still seems to be a concept that a couple of my friends don't really get. So the best metaphor or way that I could think of to explain how that functions is if you were to take a sentence and go through it and identify all the nouns, pronouns, and subjects and all that fun stuff. All of those usually have a specific image tied to them in my head. So let me see. As an example, let's look at Travoldo. His bio, no. Skills, no. Where's the info on Travoldo? No database entry. Okay, fine. Let's just go to you. Books. No. Please, no. Lessons. No. Okay, lessons or tutorials. Where's all like the lore entries and bullshit? I just want a sentence. Okay, here we go. That's not a great one. Yeah, so I'm actually reading through these and I'm like trying to find ones that trigger enough thoughts in my head. Okay, yeah, this one kind of works. So, as I'm reading through this, so I've awoken at a target location, but colonization efforts have already hit a hitch. I was supposed to land on the planet's surface, but became trapped many miles underground instead. So, this one sentence alone, I'm going to go through it piece by piece and point out when a specific image popped into my head and why. So, I've awoken immediately, awoken triggered me waking up in bed, and very specifically, I could picture my bed itself, the blankets, the pillow, and how I usually sleep bundled up. So imagine that image, or whatever image would pop up to you in your mind, instantly flashing in front of your face, like a flashcard or a projector, like back in school, or if you've seen the movie Inside Out, when they play a memory through the projector by putting that memory orb there and it just kind of overtakes your field of view. That's kind of what happens to me. So I'm only 2 sentences in, and that's already happened once. At the target location. Target also triggered it, and immediately I saw a bullseye that I used to shoot arrows at. And these are very specific bullseyes. They're not just a generic image of a bullseye. This is a specific one that I got for Christmas when I was, I think, 14. I got my first bow and arrow, and I got this, and I was in, I want to say, Kansas, and I went out in my backyard and was target shooting for a couple of hours. Location, but the colonization also triggers thoughts. It reminds me of the Lost Planet, a game series which I absolutely love, as well as this game. So just pretty much anything related to that game is now in my head. Efforts have already hit a hitch. Hitch immediately brought to mind a hitch that you would hitch a horse to. Specifically one in Red Dead Redemption, the first game, in the first town that you play, because I couldn't figure out how to hitch my horse to it. I was supposed to land, so immediately land triggered landing pods and drop pods from Warhammer 40k on the planet's surface. Planet also triggered tons of thoughts in my head because I have somewhat of an obsession with astrobiology and not astrology, but studying planets and the solar system and things of that nature. Surface also triggered several different thoughts. The surface of my kitchen island, because it has really nice texture. I really enjoy cooking on it. But also, the surface of plants, the surface of all kinds of different things. Just so many different thoughts popped into my head right there. But became trapped, and trapped also triggered so many different things. In particular, the very first one, though, was the game Terraria, because I became obsessed with wiring and creating traps in that game so that I could basically automate how the game functioned. And I spent hours doing that, to the point where the game was no longer a challenge because I was capable of automating almost all of the bosses to be killed. I just had to summon them and then let my traps kill them, and I was invulnerable. Many miles underground. Underground also triggered thoughts of this game, as well as I have tons and tons of theories on subterranean living and plans for that, and it also triggered thoughts of caving, and specifically I'm remembering the Merrimack Caverns and that massive cave system in China that has its own cloud system because it has a forest down in the cavern, which is beautiful. So this one sentence has massively put me off of what the sentence is trying to convey to me. And that level of distraction happens every single time someone opens their mouth, sometimes even when I open my mouth. And that's why it takes so much effort for me to focus and pay attention to what you're saying and to be present in a conversation. And that is also why I can seemingly go on a tangent that is just so off the wall to you that makes no sense to you, because a single word can trigger these thoughts of something completely unrelated. And now my mind can be dwelling on that while trying to also pay attention to what you're getting across. Like, going through this, I can't tell you what this original sentence meant because all I can think about is all of this shit that popped into my head. And I deal with that on a daily, hourly, minutely basis, and it's distracting. And honestly, like, I don't think I would want that to change because it is really fascinating to me, and it opens up my world to making connections to things that most people probably wouldn't consider. Okay, good. So as long as there's something in that corner, they are able to reach. So it's actually, I could just make it a double step. So yeah, let's do double step. Aesthetically, it'll look nice. Maybe for the top corners, instead of doing a double step, I'll do crown molding there. Yeah, aesthetically, I think that'll be pleasing. The only time I won't do double steps, obviously, is if I need more space than just these 4 tiles. Most buildings are only 4 tiles wide, so I could probably get away with that. Alright, looks like they finished that. Cycle's actually... Oh wow, it is cycle 2. Nobody pooped? Or they did poop? Yeah, they used the toilet. Okay, good. I didn't even realize we were already on cycle 2. That means they slept and they did not have beds, and I'm sorry for that, guys. Normally I'm not sorry, but today I care a little bit more about you guys. If I offset this, I can get 4 beds in here, assuming I dig up that, which I will. And eventually I'll have 4 duplicates. Go. So let's get that going. Although, if I do 4 duplicates, I won't be able to do a barracks. But eventually I do plan on having an actual barrack cube. Should I just work on building a barracks cube? I should. Yeah, sorry guys. Still dig that up. So, let's see. Actually, aesthetically, I don't really like these, so maybe I do deconstruct these corner tiles. Alright, I think this room will be oxygen generation, so I'm gonna need a power source, but I need metal to do that. And metal is gonna be above, so I need to extend these ladders up and get to work making another cube. So, actually, if I'm going to be doing that, let's go ahead and, okay, so the door will be there. So we'll have this guy going on. So that's going to be, well, not that far. There we go. And you can extend up to there. I try not to dig out all of the abyssalite because it does have the total, not abyssalite, oxalite. It does have the total amount. So right now this is 113.7 kilograms. If you were to dig it, that gets cut in half. You lose half the mass every time you dig a tile. So that doesn't convert immediately into a burst of oxygen. You just lose that. And then half of this, so that would be like 55-ish kilograms. You would only get 55 kilograms of oxygen out of that 113 kilograms of oxalite. So it's a big loss, and I try to avoid those losses when I can. So maybe I just do the barracks above then, because then I could just go down the ladder, and eventually I'll have like poles so they can go up and down a lot faster. And then I can have power generation up here, maybe, or no, I still want to do power generation down here. Maybe I'll do power generation right here, and then have the oxygen pump out here. And I can convert this part into gas tiles once I research it. Actually, that's a good point. Research. I don't want research yet. Research should be relatively near power. That should be relatively near water, actually. So maybe I put a research station here. This didn't have to be sent to me. And I'll figure it out. It's annoying me. Alright, get back to work, guys. I'll figure this shit out. I'm a little scatterbrained today. I haven't really made a whole lot of plans for Valentine's Day myself, and you know that's not great when you're in a relationship. It kind of I'm doing cancel, not doing date. That's why. It's not a great sign. So I'm trying to also come up with plans. Plus, reading that one sentence really tripped me up a bit because now I've got so many things in my brain and I can't focus. It's a little frustrating. Oh wait, no, I don't need that because that's going to be the corridor. So I actually need to extend up. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this will be the corridor and then the floor. There we go. Pay attention to your plans. So I could actually put researcher beds in there still if I wanted to. And if I do 3 beds, then I can technically make that a barrack. Maybe, yeah, that's what I'll do. It's not going to be nice, but eventually I'll be able to convert them into proper bedrooms. But right now my priority is getting that metal. I need that copper. All this. That way I can actually get shit moving. Alright. I forgot just how distracted this game can make me because I'm trying to juggle this. Oh, actually, yeah. So one thing I wanted to talk about oxygen unincluded in particular, and the reason why I ended up getting tapped out for a little while in this game, is I became so hyper focused on making perfect, like, not necessarily zero-sum colonies, but I wanted my colonies to be able to have extremely minute amounts of waste and to recycle as much as possible in the game. I was going to say humanly possible, but they're duplicates, so I stopped myself. That's so pointless. But yeah, I became obsessed with the efficiency of it all, and my notebooks, as I've said in older videos, was just filled with notes and math and equations and shit like that. And it got out of hand. It really did. And I ended up tapping myself out on it because it was exhausting. It was way too much to think about. And I shouldn't have allowed myself to go that far. And it kind of spoiled my ability to enjoy the game just at the game. So I took an extended break from it and played other things, and I am really enjoying myself, and I'm trying not to fall back into that. That being said, when the new content releases, more than likely that can happen again. Ooh. And I'm staying away from mods. For a little while I did toy with mods, but mods just made the issue slightly worse because there was more math to do, and there are some really fascinating mods that make the game a lot more accessible and fun, in my opinion, but I don't necessarily need to do that. I think it's going to be most important to get power going because my oxygen situation, it's actually been long enough that I forgot the overlays. Okay, my oxygen situation is still really good. I have a decent amount of oxalite, so I don't need to rush on the power except for research. So I do need to dig this out as soon as I can, because that's where I'm going to put my research station. Actually, yeah, if I have all those dig commands, I probably don't need those. And if I just leave those, then it's counts tiles and I can dig them out. Yeah, okay. This is working. Alright. These guys chugging along, perfect. I'm gonna ignore the rest of those dig commands. That should be enough copper for me to get power going. Let's see, I could fit 3 generators. I could put 2 generators and a battery. Eventually a large battery. For now, I'll just let them dig. I won't put any commands out. Let's go ahead and see this summary. And we can populate that stuff. There we go. Choose a blueprint so I can get fertilizer, sand, decreased strength, not great. Can't do cooking errands. I'm usually okay with people that can't do a specific skill. The only skills I don't like when it comes to this is if they can't dig or build, because then they can kind of become trapped where they want to dig a tile, but it's behind a tile that needs constructed or something, or no, vice versa. Either way, they end up being queued to do something, and then they can't actually do it because they're waiting on another duplicate that has the ability to do something, and it's very frustrating. But yeah. Was there anything else I want to talk about with autism today? Oh yeah, overwhelming. Whenever I get overwhelmed. So what I wanted to talk about there is that, is that really unusual? Did you guys just fail to... I was able to do it over here, why can't you guys do that there? Weird. What if I put a tile here? That should do it. Dig it. Dig it. There we go. Good boys. Alright, get rid of that, and deconstruct that. Alright, so when I'm overwhelmed, how I wanted to describe this in a way that other people would be able to understand is that imagine you are going to a new location, say a new mall, a shopping mall that you've never been to. Actually, no, even better, you're going to a hospital that you've never been to. You may or may not be sick. Maybe you just have an appointment there. You've never been there, and you don't know where anything is. There's no signage explaining where things are, and everybody's looking at you, but no one will help you. So everyone's staring, no one's talking. There's no signs indicating where you should go. There's elevators and there's stairs, but you don't know what floor you're supposed to go on. You don't know which hallway will lead you to the office that you need to go on. And you're on a time crunch. So all of that pressure and that uncertainty and that terror of not knowing what the hell you're supposed to be doing is what it feels like when I become overwhelmed with, say, emotional language and loudness, as I would describe it, or just any level of overstimulation where I'm just kind of sitting there and I don't know what the hell is going on anymore. That is kind of what it feels like, because you're lost and mentally you don't know what you're supposed to be doing and you can't figure out how to get out of this situation. And there's no asking for help. There simply isn't. Like, yes, people would probably be willing to help, but that's not gonna happen. And it's scary. It's draining, and it's such a weird sensation to be mentally overwhelmed like that. But it does happen fairly often, and I'm working really hard to find ways to prevent that from happening to myself, and it is going okay. Like, I am figuring it out to a degree. And actually, I wonder, is there a way for me to design this? Because if they're going to be up and down, I could have a bed here, here, and here, and then if I position this right, it'd still be able to go up here. I could have 2 more beds. So I could actually have 5 beds in this one room. One there, and there, and one there. Yeah, because then they, can they? Maybe with a ladder. Let's put a ladder there just to be safe. Yeah, and then they should be able to walk down. And yeah, let's give that a test. That should be able to be a 5-person barracks. And then construct these to motivate them further. Yeah, that could be interesting. And then I still have room for some decoration to try and increase the decor in there. It's gonna be a very tight bit for everybody to sleep in, but hey, you know, that is what it is. So I've got stuff, and I need to mop this. Yes. Then I can connect the water reservoirs. Go. Because this will be a power generation up here. If I do one here, one here, I'll eventually do a big battery once I research it. For now, I'll just slap down one tiny battery. connect those to each other. I don't want to connect the battery just yet because there's nothing for them to actually do with it. But I will be needing to start generating oxygen, so I'll get 2 of these guys going. And once I dig up enough copper to actually use those, and lock that up as well. So, copper excavation. This base is actually getting pretty large simply because of the way that I chose to build, but I'm okay with it. I like giving myself weird little challenges like this. Ooh, that is a very hot biome, so I do want to be careful approaching that. I'm hoping that I'll be able to find like a cold biome somewhere out over here, or unlikely, but maybe down there. Usually you are surrounded by hot and the cold doesn't come up until later. So let's dig all that out, Travaldo. That'll also give us a little bit more muckroot. Food-wise, we're doing okay. I haven't really been paying attention. It's been a while since I played this, as I said. Hey, alright, he ate. That's good. And the barracks does look like it's functioning. Perfect. And there's a shine bug in there, which I'm gonna cheat to get him out. If you Alt-Q, you can teleport anything that you've selected. But yeah, if that shine bug had stayed in there, then when they tried to sleep, it would give them a debuff because they would wake up because of the bright light. And unfortunately, you can't turn off shine bugs. Alrighty, so that'll be good. I've still got some oxalite going over here. The shine bugs are mating. Well, not mating, but they are reproducing. Looks like I've got a hatch here. So all in all, this colony is actually going pretty decently. I have a lot of starting water. I just realized that's 4 ponds. Like that's pretty damn good. No morbs though. I like morbs. One of the things I kind of toyed with, one of my friends in the Discord is a very good modder for this game, and I suggested, but I didn't push her to do it. I didn't want to force her into anything. But we talked about potential more variants where they put off floral scents or death spores, or all the different types of diseases, as opposed to just being slime lung, and calling them florbs and all kinds of different things. It was cute. Any skills? I've got Max has a skill. At the moment, nobody's getting sick, but he could be my doctor if I needed one. What do I need? Eventually I'll need advanced research, but I think I have, yeah, I have a researcher, I have a digger, who is also a rancher, and I have a builder. So, you... I think decor is going to be more important in the short term, but given that it's been a long time, I do expect to have to need medicine, which I've never done before. I don't know. I really don't. Maybe I'll just leave him with this skill for now, because as you increase his skills, their food expectations and stress also change. So yeah, I'll leave that for now. Let's take a moment to stop. Okay, so I have water, I have oxygen going, I have a small bathroom going, which as soon as one of these is full, that could cause problems. I should change these to right only and left only. There we go, that way, so if they have germs, no matter what, when they pass them one way or the other, they will have to wash their hands. I'm going to eventually need a place to store that water. As long as I never use infected water for food, that shouldn't be a problem. I'm not growing any food right now, but I also haven't started researching yet, so I do need to get a research station going. I think for convenience sake, I will put it in. Yeah, actually, if I do the same thing I did with the barracks, so I'll put that there. And then I build this, and slap these here. That will give me room to put the large research station when I research it right there. And that also leaves me space when I unlock it. I can put a light here and a light up here because you do research faster when you're in a lit environment. So yeah, that'll work out. Okay. So I've got that going. I can finish this. And then if I put miners here, they should be able to reach all of that in theory. Working around this printed colors line. I don't think that'll work. Or maybe it will. If I do this number, should be able to reach everything. Alright, yeah, and clear that out. Just for aesthetic purposes, I want that finished. And eventually I will be moving this ration box. I'm thinking I will put another cube over here, or something along those lines, and keep that in a carbon environment, or a carbon dioxide environment, because the way these are designed, carbon dioxide should be, yeah, see, it should be trapping itself down here, so that will remain a sterile environment. These ones, I will be converting at least some pockets of this into gas tiles so that oxygen flow can continue through and carbon dioxide will sink in the base. I do have room to make another cube over here. I need to drain this water down before I can make a cube here. And now I have room for yet another cube. I've got 3 cubes vertically, alright. That's pretty cool. Actually, yeah, I think this probably isn't a bad place to stop for the day. You know, 5 cycles in, it's not terrible. I got a lot done. I said everything that was on my mind, and I'm sure there was more that I wanted to talk about, and I just completely fucking forgot. But you know, that's nothing new. At least now you know a little bit more about how easy it is for me to get distracted, and why it's so difficult for me to stay on target when it comes to random thoughts. Alright, so these can be deconstructed. I love shadows. And yeah, so thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully some of my weird little metaphors made some sense to you and helped you out when it comes to understanding autism from a more practical example. What should I research? I should research that. I will be playing this more on my own. Wow, it took all this time for me to yawn. So maybe I'll come back to this like next week. I don't know what all's going to be going on. I feel very lost, like I was describing where I was overwhelmed. I feel very overwhelmed and lost at the moment. I'm going to research this actually. Oh yeah, I can get to work on research faster. So my whole concept of what's going on day to day is very, very screwed up right now. But yeah, hopefully things are going alright with you guys. As always, reach out if you need it. I should be around, and love you guys.